It's all connected. The Chinese and the Russians said they're now friends forever. Iranian drones are being used in Ukraine and against the Israelis. There's an axis of evil in the world: China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And we need to stand up to the axis of evil, not try to do business with them.
This is my video update from Prague, Czech Republic, on this Monday morning, October the 23rd. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Senator Mitch McConnell and his appearance on NBC or ABC or CBS's Face the Nation or Meet the Press. I don't know which one it was. They're all kind of the same, aren't they? Meet the Press, Meet the Nation, Face the Press, Face the Nation, whatever. They're all the same Sunday talk show. And you had, my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Hey, buddy. Incredible. Just getting some breakfast. All right. So let's talk about the turtle, Mitch McConnell, since we're watching the beautiful wildlife, the animals here in Prague. We might as well talk about the turtle, Mitch McConnell. So he said a couple of interesting things during his appearance on this Sunday news show. The one interesting thing that he said is that he is in support of the $106 billion spending package that Biden has put forward. This is the all-in-one $106 billion in aid that Biden would like to get Congress to approve, which is $61 billion to Ukraine, something like 16 billion to Israel, like 15 billion to Taiwan. That's the next conflict. And like 10 or 15 billion to the southern border. And Biden has bundled everything together, and he wants Congress to approve this in one go, one package. Now, there are a couple of senators on the Republican side of things. J.D. Vance comes to mind, Rand Paul. I think Marsha Blackburn spoke about this the other day, though. I imagined that if Mitch McConnell tells her to approve this $106 billion package, she will do so. But there are a couple of Republicans that would like to see the spending package be split apart, and they would vote on everything separately. So $60 billion to Ukraine, that would be its own separate package. 15 billion to Israel, that would be its own separate package, and so on. And J.D. Vance is one of those senators who has said that this shouldn't be bundled together. This should be split apart so that the American people can see the four big catastrophes that are taking place under the Biden White House's administration. But Mitch McConnell, he's all for this $106 billion, bundle it all together. Let's approve it, and let's get the money out to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan and the southern border. Oh, and 10% for the big guy. We can never forget the 10% for the big guy. Anyway, yeah, that's McConnell. He wants it all bundled together. And I was thinking about this the other day in my video because it looks like the vote for House Speaker, the fact that the House can't get a speaker, it looks like that vote hinges on getting a House Speaker who wants to get money to Ukraine, and that is why Jim Jordan was not voted as the new House Speaker. It's because of his policy towards Project Ukraine and the fact that he is on record saying that if he was Speaker of the House, he would not approve more money for Project Ukraine, and that is why the House can't get a new speaker. That's why the Republicans will not vote in someone like Jim Jordan. It's all because of Project Ukraine. The Democrats, they absolutely want more money sent to Project Ukraine, but the Republicans, well, they're more split on this issue. There are a lot of establishment and Rhino Republicans who absolutely want to get money to Project Ukraine, and there are those Republicans, the America First Republicans, the Freedom Caucus, and they would like to see some kind of an audit when it comes to Project Ukraine before approving $60 billion to the Zelensky regime, and the House was stuck. The House was stuck on this issue, Project Ukraine, but I was thinking that the Senate, which is full of rhinos like McConnell and Lindsey Graham, that they would be all for $106 billion in money to Ukraine and to Israel and to Taiwan and all of that stuff. But you had J.D. Vance and Blackburn and Rand Paul and some other senators who were saying that they would never approve this. This would not pass the Senate, this type of $106 billion bundle package. But now you have McConnell on record as the leader of the Republicans in the Senate. He is saying that the Senate is all for this. He's all for this, and I imagine that with McConnell's backing, this $106 billion package proposed by Biden will pass the Senate. So what's needed now from the Biden White House is that they have to get a House Speaker in place who is all for Project Ukraine and who will make sure that the House passes this $106 billion, and then it can go to the Senate. And with McConnell's blessing, that means that it will make it through the Senate, and they can get the $61 billion to the Zelensky regime and the other 15 billion to everybody else, and 10% for the ducks, right? 10% for the ducks, 10% for the big guy. Boy, must be good to be a duck, huh? Must be a good life. So the other interesting thing that McConnell said was that there's a new axis of evil. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I've heard this line before, haven't we? We've heard this line before. There is a new axis of evil. I wonder, did he actually say the word new? Let me see if I have his quote handy. The turtle, Mitch McConnell. He really does look like a turtle, doesn't he? I'm just joking, Mitch. I'm just having fun with you, Mitch. Come on. Don't take it personally. No, he didn't say new. He said there's an axis of evil in the world. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. So he didn't say a new axis of evil. I would think that the scriptwriters would work in the term new, realizing that this line has already been used by George W. Bush during his State of the Union address in 2002, right before he launched the war against Iraq, and then you had the war against you had Afghanistan, you had Iraq, Then Obama came in, and along with Hillary and VP Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son. This is before Bidenopoulos became Greece's favorite son, actually. They launched the war against Libya, and then you had Syria on the Maidan coup. Anyway, George W. Bush, he used the axis of evil line during his State of the Union address. And McConnell, he is saying that the axis of evil is China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. George W. Bush, he said that the axis of evil is, or was Iraq, Iran, and North Korea, right? I think that is what George W. Bush said. Yeah, North Korea, Iran, and Iraq. So congratulations to Iran and North Korea. 20 years, 21 years, you've been on the axis of evil list. And with that distinction, you get a prize. I don't know, maybe like a gold watch or something. 20 years, North Korea and Iran. Impressive. So the newcomer onto the list, the newcomers are China and Russia. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. That is the axis of evil. With George Bush, it was Iraq. We know what happened to Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. That's the narrative from Mitch McConnell. So Blinken, he was also on another one of these Sunday talk shows, Face the Nation, Face the Press, Face to Face, Meet the Face, Meet the Press, whatever it's called. And Blinken was linking Russia to Hamas. That was basically what Blinken was saying. We got to get money to Ukraine and to Israel because it's one and the same. And Russia and Hamas, well, it's all connected. He was pretty much saying what Mitch McConnell was saying. It's all connected. It's all part of the same bundle. It's all part of the same package, right? Iran, Russia, Hamas, all of it. It's all the same. So we might as well make it 106 billion, one and done, right? Taiwan, southern border. It's all the same. It's all the same. So bundle it together. That's pretty much what Blinken was saying. He was peddling the lie that Russia and Hamas are somehow connected, right? If the United States does not take on Russia and Hamas, if the United States does not give 60 billion to Ukraine and 15 billion to Israel, well then, according to Blinken, the aggressors have won. That's what he called Russia and Hamas, the aggressors. Or what did Biden say? Biden said that Hamas are terrorists and that Putin is a tyrant. My take on Hamas is that Russia fought Hamas. That Russia fought Hamas. That they fought Hamas in Syria. Hamas was working with Al-Qaeda, or they were in support of the overthrow of Assad. And for me, that means that Russia and Iran, they fought ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Hamas to prevent them from overthrowing Assad in Syria. So that's my take there. I think that it's not Russia and Hamas who are linked, but Russia is actually the one country that stepped in to prevent groups like Hamas and IS, Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, all these groups from overthrowing Assad. And by the way, who else was supporting the regime change of Assad in Syria? Well, the United States, Saudi Arabia, I believe Qatar, Israel, Turkey. Those are the countries that were actually siding with IS so that they can overthrow Assad in Syria. Moderate rebels. That's what the Obama White House called them, moderate rebels. So that's the lie that Blinken was peddling. on this Sunday. Let's walk like this on this Sunday talk show. And you can see that if you take a step back, you can see that they're definitely preparing us for some sort of conflict. I don't know if it'll be a regional conflict or if it's going to be much bigger than that, but they're preparing us for something big. I think like all of this talk about the delay in the ground invasion, I don't trust Biden. The Biden White House. They're very, very sneaky. Look at the case of the ATACMS, right? Look at all of the weapons that they've sent to Ukraine. They would say that, we're going to send the weapons today, but we're going to send the weapons in a month, but the weapons were already sent. Or in the case of the ATACMS, they're like, we're not going to send ATACMS. We're not going to do it. And they had already sent the ATACMS. So the Biden White House, they lie. They lie about this stuff, especially when it comes to military matters and conflict and escalation. They're liars. And so, all this talk about, Israel's delaying the ground operation because of weather. We know that's a lie. The Biden White House is saying that they're telling Israel to delay the ground operation until the hostages are released, until all the American hostages are released. I don't buy that for a second. I think the U.S. is escalating. They're bringing in assets into the region. German militaries in Cyprus, UK militaries in Cyprus. I imagine U.S. militaries in Cyprus. They're in Cyprus getting trained up. Cyprus is only, like I said, a 20-minute flight to Israel. So that's going to be a staging ground for whatever they have planned. They've got the warships in the area. I think that they're delaying. They're buying time in order to do something very big, to go after Iran, to go after Syria. I don't know. Lindsey Graham, once again, he was also on the Sunday talk show circuit, and he was saying that if Hezbollah gets involved in this conflict, then Iran is toast. That's pretty much what Lindsey Graham said. They're going to obliterate Iran, or they're going to do something. And you also had the Israeli defense minister, or someone in the Netanyahu government, who said the same thing, pretty much, that if Hezbollah gets involved in this conflict, then Israel's going to annihilate Iran. So the defense minister of Israel is saying that this ground operation could be a 3-month process, but he's confident that after this operation is completed, Hamas will be completely obliterated. It will be annihilated. It will cease to exist. This needs to be the last ground maneuver in Gaza for the simple reason that afterwards there will be no Hamas. That's what Gallant said at the Air Force's headquarters in Tel Aviv, the Israeli defense minister. So, they're buying time. They're stalling and they're buying time. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're not prepared. Maybe they need more time to prepare for this ground operation. But knowing the Biden White House, maybe that's Israel. Maybe Israel needs time to prepare for the ground operation in Gaza. But some sort of an attack on Iran or Syria, I think the U.S. is trying to stall and buy time to put that together, or to launch that attack. Maybe to create the dynamics of some sort of provocation or false flag, or even just to soften up the American public for an eventual conflict with Iran or Syria. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope that's not the case. I hope that the U.S.'s presence in the Mediterranean and in the region is a deterrent force. It acts as a deterrent to Iran or Hezbollah or something like that. That's what they're telling us. These ships are in the Mediterranean in order to deter Iran from getting involved, but I don't know. I think this is not to deter. I think this is to attack. But we'll see. We will see. That's my take on it. I think the Biden White House is lying about all of this, and they're going to do something. So yeah, that's McConnell, that's Blinken. A lot of Israeli officials talking about going after Iran. I say Iran and Syria. I think those are the neocons' targets. Iran and Syria. Let Israel deal with Gaza, and the U.S. is going to go after Iran and Syria. That may be what they're cooking up. And of course, more money. Got to get more money. Got to get more money in there to the Zelensky regime. Notice it's 60 billion to the Zelensky regime and only 15 billion to Israel. What does that tell you? The Biden White House, his number one project is Ukraine, Project Ukraine. That's still his number one priority, is Project Ukraine. Going after Russia. Biden has a fixation on Russia and Putin, as do the neocons. But the neocons, they're also fixated on Iran. You know, Biden's obsessed with Russia, no doubt about it. I don't really think he cares that much about the Middle East, to be quite honest. I think he's talking up the Middle East and Israel because he has to. I think other neocons in his administration, you know, the Blinkens and these guys, they absolutely want to escalate in the Middle East. And you have the neocons that absolutely want to escalate with Iran, the Lindsey Grahams. And Syria, you have the Boltons and the Newlands. You know, they want to go after Syria and Iran. I mean, for Bolton, I would put Iran higher than Russia for Bolton. Iran, Syria, then Russia for someone like John Bolton. But for Bidenopolis, Professor Biden, I think Ukraine, Project Ukraine, is still top on his list. Maybe for Newland as well. I'm trying to think. What's more important for Newland? Iran, Syria, Project Ukraine? I think Project Ukraine for Newland as well. So that's why they're bundling everything, you see? That's why they're bundling it all together. They're putting it all together and they're saying, you know, we're interested in this one bundled conflict package, our war package. So that's the compromise. And the 60 billion to Zelensky, I think that has more to do with the grift than anything else. Like 15 billion goes to Israel or 15 billion goes to Taiwan. I don't think there'll be corruption, but it's not going to be on the level of the laundering that'll take place with Ukraine. That's why they're going to give Ukraine 60 billion, because I think it just means more money comes back to them, you know. Let's give 15 billion to Taiwan. Look, you know, we're not going to be able to launder that much money from the 15 billion to Taiwan, but let's give 60 billion to Ukraine because we'll be able to launder a whole lot of money from that one. That's why they want to give the 60 billion to Ukraine, right? Oh, man. All right. So, you know, I've been talking a lot about this pipeline sabotage, the Baltic Connector pipeline sabotage. And we have The Economist. They came out with an article talking about the Baltic Connector pipeline sabotage, the pipeline from Finland and Estonia, which a week and a half ago was damaged, sabotaged, blown up, whatever, and Finland blamed Russia. But yesterday, The Guardian blamed China, and now you have The Economist coming out, and they're blaming both. Yeah, they're blaming both. The Economist. They're basically saying that, you know, it most likely is Russia. So get this, The Economist, they actually say in the article that the pipeline sabotage of Nord Stream is very murky. They can't figure that one out. But Baltic Connector seems more straightforward. And for The Economist, it's most likely Russia, because Russia actually, they have the technology and, and according to The Economist, they kind of have the history, the technology, the understanding, the history to do these types of things. I don't know where they're pulling this stuff from, but that's what they're implying. I don't think they use the word history, but they're implying that Russia just does this type of stuff, right? So they're saying that most likely this is Russia, but there's a new country that's suspected to have damaged this Baltic connector pipeline, and that's China. And so they're saying that if it's China, Finland, and the Baltic countries, they have to be very, very careful, before they actually say that China did it, because it's China, right? They don't want to fully piss off China just yet. Russia, Putin this, Putin that. Russia blows up stuff. We don't need evidence. We don't need anything. When it's Russia, you can accuse them right away. But when it's China, you still have to be a little bit careful. So the Baltic countries, they want to make sure that they investigate this thing. I actually think that The Economist, they actually did say that Finland is being very, very careful before they accuse China. Like very careful, and they're conducting a very thorough investigation. Nord Stream, it's very murky. That's what they say. I got to find the line from this article. They don't know who could have done the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage. Very, very murky. Yeah, here it is. The situation remains murky with regards to Nord Stream. Oh, man. Who could have done Nord Stream? Very murky. Baltic Connector? Russia, China. We just don't know which one. If it's Russia, then we'll just accuse Russia right away and sanction them. But if it's China, we have to be very careful before we start sanctioning China. These guys. What a bunch of clowns. What a bunch of clowns the EU leaders have become. What a bunch of clowns they are. Absolute clowns. Clowns and cowards. If you think it's China, sanction China. Do it. Do it. Let's see you guys do that. They won't, because they know that if they start sanctioning China now, their economies will be completely obliterated. They're already in bad shape from the 12 or 13th or 38 sanction packages against Russia. So they know that they can't take on China at the same time, not just yet. Anyway, yeah, that's the Baltic Connector, and we had elections, actually, a couple of elections that took place over the weekend. We had elections in Switzerland for the parliament, and we had elections in Argentina. Big elections in Argentina. Surprise results, actually, in Argentina. Let me pull it up here, because everyone was expecting Javier Milei, who I'm sure everyone knows who this is. Tucker Carlson actually had an interview with him. He positions himself, and I don't know if this is really who he is, if this is genuine, but he positions himself as like the anti-establishment, anti-globalist candidate, and he was expected to win. He was definitely getting the most media attention and the most press, and he was expected to win these elections, but he didn't. He actually came in second place to Sergio Massa, who was, from what I understand, the economy minister. And we all know that Argentina's economy is in a mess, a complete mess. Milei got 30.2% of the votes, and Mr. Massa got 36.2% of the votes. Now, Massa doesn't win because he didn't pass the 45% threshold in the first round to win. And so these elections will go to a runoff. And that runoff is scheduled for, I believe, November 19th. So you're going to have Milei and Massa in a runoff. So that was a bit of surprising news from the elections in Argentina. And you had the elections for parliament in Switzerland. And public broadcaster SSR said that the SVP was on track to receive 29% of the vote, an increase of nearly 3.5 percentage points over its 2019 results. And the Greens, who in 2019 made historic gains, were expected to see their support sink to about 9%, down from 13.2%. So I think that's the big story with regards to the parliamentary elections in Switzerland. The collapse of the Greens, which is good news. Very, very good news. You know my philosophy on the Green parties. Let them exist. Let the Green parties exist, but don't ever let them near any type of government. Ever, ever, ever. Don't ever let the Greens near the levers of power. That should be like enshrined in every country's constitution when it comes to the Greens. So, let's walk up this way. So that's the big story with these elections. SVR, I think, already had a majority. They were already the majority party, if I got this one right. But they increased their seats. The Greens collapsed, and the SVR, they basically won on a platform of no more migration. Actually, they want to cap Switzerland's population to 10 million until 2050, citing concerns over the protection of nature and overstretched infrastructure. So the SVR actually wants to cap the population of Switzerland. So they're against migration. They actually ran on a platform to end wokeness. Yep, to end wokeness. And they want an end to the conflict in Ukraine. They basically ran on a platform saying that Switzerland has lost its neutrality by going along with the crazy EU sanctions, and they want Switzerland to return to its neutral position. So big results in these elections in Switzerland. So I think that's everything. I think that's everything for today. Can I do a clown world? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So let's do a clown world. Elon Musk, he put out a tweet the other day, and he's kind of having this back and forth with Wikipedia, and he's taking jabs at Wikipedia because Wikipedia is basically controlled by the deep states, by the three-letter agencies. I think we all know that. That's no surprise. When you read Wikipedia, you understand that they have a certain agenda. But Elon Musk, he put out a tweet, and in the tweet he said, "I will give them $1 billion if they change their name to Dickipedia," in reference to Wikipedia. That is what Elon Musk tweeted. Wikipedia, I guess they put out a tweet saying Wikipedia is not for sale, a personal appeal from Jimmy Wales. Anyway, Wikipedia put out some sort of tweet, and Elon Musk was trolling them, and he said, "I'll give them $1 billion if they change their name to Dickipedia." Oh, man. All right, everybody. I think I'll end the video there. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter, X. We are on X, and go to the Duran shop. 20% off. Use the code TheDuran20. Take care.